Today we are going to look at the properties of water and how important water is to living things. The first topic is polarity. Polarity basically means so we have a molecule of oxygen and two molecules of hydrogen. Because this is H2O. That's what water is. So there's the two molecules of hydrogen, one molecule of oxygen. Polarity basically means that there is a negative charge and a positive charge on both sides of that molecule. The way I like to remember this is that a sloppy H kind of looks like a plus sign. So that helps me to remember that the sloppy H is positive and the oxygen is negative. Within one water molecule, there are covalent bonds. Covalent bond is a fairly strong bond, and again, it attaches the oxygen to the hydrogen. They basically share an electron. That's the definition of a covalent bond. However, water molecules like to stick to each other. The positive side of the hydrogen sticks to the negative side of the oxygen. Therefore, we have what's called a hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond is a much weaker bond. We use the term polar when we're talking about a molecule or compound that has an uneven charge. So again, here is our oxygen and here is our hydrogen. Let's talk about solubility of water. Water dissolves polar substances, so those are like substances. So for example, sodium chloride has a positive and a negative charge to it, so it will dissolve that. Whereas it does not dissolve non-polar substances. So if you think of salad dressing, so the water and oil don't mix, so those two do not mix together. I'd like to introduce two new terms, cohesion and adhesion. Cohesion is basically when molecules of the same substance cling to each other. So for example, you've seen water droplets stick to each other on a grass or on a spider web. We also call this surface tension. So if you try to drop drops on a penny, or if you fill a water glass all the way up to the top, they stick to each other. Another term is adhesion, and adhesion is the attraction between two different substances. So for example, this is what we see when water is in a beaker and you see what's called a little meniscus. It's that little it rises on the sides. We also call this capillary action or capillarity. And again, this is how water is in a tube or how it goes into a plant system. This is because water sticks to a different substance. Water also helps to moderate the global temperatures here on planet Earth. So, for example, it has a high heat capacity. It absorbs lots amount of energy. For example, our Earth oceans absorbs radiation from the sunlight, and it stabilizes global temperatures. Likewise, you've also felt it whenever you get sweaty. You have what's called evaporative cooling or sweating. And again, this prevents organisms from overheating. Density is another unique factor for water. Solid water is less dense than ice, which is very unusual for most other substances here on planet Earth. For example, ice floats and it freezes from the top down. Our organisms would be dramatically different if our lakes and ponds froze from the bottom up. And the last part is about solutions. A solution is one or more substances. For example, blood, plasma, those are two different substances, and milk within coffee is another one. A solvent, a substance that does the dissolving. For example, this would be water. And a solute would be the substance that is being dissolved, such as salt. So if you dissolve salt in water, the salt is a solute and the water is the solvent.